Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Oh, man, we back, man. We back from LA, man. So we back on these stories. Shout out to everybody in LA, man, that showed me love, man. Adam 22, man, salute. You know, Christy Bus, salute. You know, shout out to my man, Alan Williams, man, for putting that connection together. It was a beautiful situation, man. And shout out to Hollywood Trail, man, my son, the Big Boss Productions, who does all this stuff, bring all this stuff together for TBP, man. But we back on these 33 years of prison stories, man. We back on my travels through these concrete jungle. Next stop was River North. Oh, man. Didn't stay there long, but it was something else. But before we do all that, man, I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel, man. Everybody who leaves a like, everybody who leaves a comment. I told y'all it helps to build this platform up. So I appreciate all of y'all, man. If you ain't subscribed, you know, try to check your status and see if you are. If you ain't, just hit that button. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about this movement over here, man. We on the move in 2022. We trying to spread this thing out everywhere. We trying to get everybody to get this message. So every little bit helps, man. So we in this together, Team Banky Pound. I told y'all where I go, y'all go. Now we back from LA. Let's get back on these travels, man. Shout out to Cash Flow Wealth Builders, man, for sending me this get up, man. You know, they sent me a lot of merchandise, man. They got some good stuff out there, man. Y'all go check them out. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the love. Salute. Yeah, River North, man. When I got on River North, I'm thinking it's like 2013 or 14. I'm not sure. It's one or the other. But I was leaving Wallace Ridge. I wasn't even supposed to go there. I was supposed to go down to a level 3. But I told you the politics of prison, how they do. They had this new prison that they was trying to fill up bed space. They was trying to put people in these beds. And by them trying to put people in these beds, then you get turned into cannon fodder, man. You just, you know, it's not where you're supposed to go, but that's where you end up going. They reroute you because of the need to fill the beds. So they rerouted us, man, and it's like an hour away from, you know, Wallace Ridge. So you sending us, we thinking we leaving the mountains. I'm thinking I'm leaving the mountains, which is the major thing that I'm happy about, leaving these mountains. But they sending me right down the street. Man, it was crazy. I was just so irritated, so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. Man, I'm like, this ain't right. This ain't right. I'm trying to, you know, put some paperwork in. I'm trying to do everything. I do not want to be up here in these mountains under no circumstances. And like I say, this was just right down the street. And this was a brand new prison. And when you get to this prison, you realize that it's a prison like you ain't even never seen before. It's like a row of warehouses. The outside look like warehouses. It's built like warehouses. It's like on this side and on this side, it's like rows and rows of warehouses. In the middle, it's like rows and rows of fences that's fenced off into basketball cages, right? And man, I'm like, man, what in the world and where am I at? But it was crazy, man, just the sight of it and everything. When we get there, we under the same type of pressure, man. They got these dogs, they got these guns. But on here, let me tell you, these dogs was a problem. And more than the dogs being a problem, the dog officer was a more of a problem. Because every dog officer on Wallace Ridge, for some reason or another, because they had the dog, felt like they was gangster. They felt like they was gangster. They talking slick, they running their mouth to you, they barking orders because they got this dog, a attack dog with them. So it was crazy. They was going above and beyond their job. They don't even supposed to be talking to you. They don't even supposed to be giving you orders or none of that because they the K9 unit. But that's all they did on River North, man, was run their mouth, try to antagonize you, make you do something where they could sick the dog on you, man. It was sickening, man. I noticed that from the beginning when I got there. Then we walking in these little narrow lanes that they got for us, and it's like you against the wall, and then you got like 2 or 3 feet, and you supposed to be in this lane when you walking. Everywhere you go, they got these lanes. If you outside of these lanes, then you out of bounds. They can shoot you or put the dog on you. Okay, but when you walking outside of these lanes, they got the dogs like a foot away from the lane. So the dog is right there snapping and biting at you every time you go by, every time you pass them. When you go in the kitchen, they got the dog like 2 feet away from the door that you go in the kitchen. And when you coming out, he like 2 feet away. So if you walk out and you not paying attention, you'll walk right into the dog and get bit. Man, there was so many complaints about that, but they kept trying to justify saying, well, walk in the lane, walk in the lane. So, you know, like I said, it was the politics up there, man. They was already into this foolishness, before we even got there. And we knew, I think I was with the first 200 people that was there. So they don't know nothing about prison, no more than what they learned in their training before they opened up this prison. To the best of my knowledge, I heard this prison had been sitting there for 4 years and it wasn't in use. And now they just, got the clientele or the staff workers to come in there to work the prison. They didn't have enough people to work the prison because they was all in training. So basically all these people are new to the system. They new to prison. They don't know no more about prison than the person that just came through receiving. But yet they in here and they got control over your life. They got control over your movement. They got control over your say-so. And it was just crazy, man, because they didn't have a clue of what they was doing. And, man, it was a wild scene. And after we get there and we go to property and we go to get our property, that was my first problem right there. Property was taking this, taking that. They don't know no better. They trying to take stuff that, I done had for decades. They trying to take stuff that I done had for years. They trying to take stuff that other prisons have allowed me to purchase and to get through the mail or whatever. But now they're saying it's contraband on here. How can it be contraband if we up under the same system? This is still a Virginia DOC. If Virginia DOC approved for me to get this and Virginia DOC sold me this, how is it contraband now? So they're taking a lot of property, telling me I got to send it home. This was infuriating me. The main thing that bothered me, man, was they was trying to take certain pictures that I had and trying to make me send them home. Any pictures that I had that consisted of bathing suits, bikinis, shorts, so they was just making you send them home saying that they was inappropriate, which was crazy because these was pictures that was allowed to come through the mail, pictures that may have had over years and years and years. They cannot take these pictures from you and tell you to send them home. They contraband because the DOC allowed you to have them. You have to go through a process to be able to receive stuff that what's approved and what's not approved. So if you still under the DOC guidelines, these things I still supposed to be able to keep. They told me either I could get rid of it or they would throw it away. I had 30 days for somebody to pick it up unless I grieved it. If I grieved it, I had a longer process, like 60 days, and they would evaluate the grievance. After the grievance came to completion, then they would decide what to be done with it. So I said that I wanted to grieve because I was going to grieve it, and I did grieve it. But that was just outrageous in itself, man, for them to be trying to take things away from you that they allowed you to have. And I think a lot of that was because of the lack of knowledge that they had about the system, the lack of knowledge that the officers had. They had people in positions, officers, sergeants, lieutenants, and all. These people ain't even never been in the system before. Or they'd have been in the system for less than 5 years. So they definitely wasn't more knowledgeable about the system and the rules than I was, So it was crazy, man. That type of stuff right there, have you on the edge, hey, you get ready to lose your cool, but you trying to play it cool because number one, you're trying to get out of the penitentiary. Number two, you most definitely trying to get from out these mountains. So my first agenda was to see my counselor, man, and find out, first of all, what am I doing here and how long do I got to stay here because I don't even supposed to be here. This considered a level 4, is all the way up in the mountains. My points dictate I'm a level 3. That's why I just got transferred. That's why I thought I was going to. But y'all done rerouted me here. What's going on? Man, they come up with all this foolishness about yeah, well, you know, this is where you got to go. It's a transition. It's a step down. No, it's not a step down. It's the same as where I just came from. You know what I'm saying? But they try to justify. Then they came to the conclusion, well, now that you're here, you already been processed in, you know, through ICA enrichment. So you have to be here at least a year before you can be put on the transfer list to be moved to a lower level. Man, I was like, man, these people got more game than Parker Brothers, man. They got game long as I-95, man. It was just crazy. They was making the rules up as they go along. Man, it was wicked. When we get in the building, it's unlike any prison, like I said, I ever seen before, man. When we get to the cells, man, the walls and the floor, it's hard to explain, man. It was like, what do you call that stuff that you put on the side of the house, like silent or whatever you call it. The stuff that you tap it, it sounds like a screen door or something. That's what the walls was made of. That's what the floor was made of. You could bounce on the floor and you could hear the vibration, you know. And unlike any other cell that I ever been in my whole entire time in prison, the toilet was at the back of the cell opposed to being at the front of the cell. Every prison cell, every jail I ever been in, the toilet was always at the front of the cell. This toilet was at the back of the cell. The beds was at the front of the cell, right by the door, which is crazy in itself. Everything on here was backwards. It's like they didn't know what they was doing. This was not intended to be a prison, but they turned it into a prison because of the need, you know, for to help the economy up there, to get workers up there, to get jobs, and to put people in position where they'd be working. You know, it was just crazy, man. The beds is at the front of the cell, connected to the wall where you walk in the door. So as soon as you step to the door, right here to the right is your beds. In the back of the cell is where the toilet was at. You know, and I'd never been in a cell like that in the whole time I was locked up, not before or after that. But that was crazy. Other than that, this was the only cell that I had ever been in that has no windows. There was no windows in the cell, so the ventilation in there is horrible. No windows in the cell, no windows in the block. You couldn't even see the outside. It was like you was in a dungeon. You know, you couldn't see no daylight, no nothing. When the lights went out, it was pitch black in there. Crazy, man, crazy. They got the gun tower up there. They got the people standing over top of you with the gun. They running basically the same rules they running from Wallace Ridge. When you step out, you got to stand in front of your cell. You got to stay inside the lines or you're going to be shot. All of this craziness, foolishness going on River North, man. And basically most of the same thing. They had a lot of, not a lot, they had a few more African-American workers there than they did on Wallace Ridge, because it was very rare you seeing one on Wallace Ridge. You probably can count them on one hand, maybe two. And they had a little more up there, but still it was basically the same dynamics. Most of the officers were Caucasian officers. They was acting racist. You know, I ain't even say they was acting racist because that wasn't no act. They was racist. They was mean. They was argumentative. You know, antagonizing. It just was it was a bad scene, man. And I was so happy to leave Wallace Ridge thinking that I'm going to greener pastures, man. And here it is, they send me down the street, you know. So I'm like, man, this you know, this ain't right. It ain't nothing right about it. I immediately got on the phone, man. I started calling, you know, trying to let my people know what was going on. My people was anticipating me coming down the lower level, possibly being able to visit me soon or whatnot. But now I got to let them know I'm still stuck up here in the mountains, dealing with these people, man, and their politics and what they doing up here, man. And they trying to justify, trying to tell me I got to at least be here a year, no matter what, before I can even be put in for a transfer because of all of the movement that goes through transfers. You see what I'm saying? So I'm basically stuck. I ended up going in the cell, man, with one of my old cell partners. He had came on there, man. I think it Keon Pulley. He was up there. I ended up going in the cell with him. He still just as crazy as I don't know what this dude I told y'all about before. He was scared of clowns or whatnot, but he seen me. First thing he hollered was, "Oh man, come on, go to my cell, man. I got a single cell. Come to my cell, man, before they put somebody in here." So I asked people to put me in there because they was winging everything they was doing. They didn't know what they was doing. They was winging everything, man. You know, so I went and ended up getting in the cell with him. You know, the rec and everything, when they started calling the rec, we come out, we get to use the phone. People was getting in line for the phones. Dudes was already in there having problems. You know, beefing about who gonna get on the phone, when you gonna get on the phone, telling other people to get off the phone. But you got this man standing over top of you at all time with this gun, waiting to shoot you. You know, you had the gang stuff going on up there already. Dudes was already sizing each other up. Oh, he from this set. Oh, he from that set. Oh, I don't like him. So I can see the tension and everything in there already off the top. So I already knew, you know, I wasn't trying to make no friends in there. I wasn't trying to be there long. I wasn't trying to be there at all. But I knew I wasn't trying to really, you know, do a whole lot of kicking it, man. So you got to set your mind frame when you get in a new prison like that. You got to decide how you going to do that time and what's going on. And you don't have a lot of time to do that. You don't have a lot of time to be sitting around. You got to get into a game plan. You got to get into game mode. You got to get into a rhythm that you know how you're going to do this time on this compound. And you got to figure out what's going on this compound, how it's going on, and who to look out for. Yeah, who to look out for. I figured out who to look out for quick, you know. It's the K9 unit. The K9 unit on this compound was off the chain, man. It's like they had no supervision. They kept that dog up close on you, man. Like they was, I mean, the dog literally might be this close to you when you're walking. He's snapping and barking and you like, man, what, you know. And they just steady hollering, just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You know, like we, you know, in a concentration camp or something. Man, I felt like that was ridiculous. The only good thing about the compound was, from the beginning that I could see, was the food. They was feeding good food up there only because they was brand new. They was feeding good food up there. I mean, you know, good considering, you know, prison standards. Because we was getting food on there that you won't usually get. And that was only because the new dudes that got there who were inmates became the cooks. And they was cooking up the food the way that they wanted to cook up the food, because the people that was in the kitchen and the supervisors, they didn't have no other clue. Because normally on a prison, did all the good food that we supposed to get, that your tax money pay for, they take that food and serve it to the staff in the staff kitchen. In every prison, they got a regular kitchen and they got the staff kitchen. They take the good food and serve it all to the staff, and we get all of this non-edible, non-pronounceable food that we don't even know what it is. Bulk meat, not pork, not beef, not poultry, bulk meat. They don't even know what it is. So that's normally what we get. And on River North, man, we was getting real hamburgers. I think they was getting hamburgers that was being donated to them from a local, like McDonald's or something, or Hardee's or something like that. So we was getting those for a while. You know, real hamburgers, real hot dogs, beef hot dogs, you know, pork and beans, you know, with the little sugar in it, you know, because of the dudes that was cooking the food were inmates. So we was getting good stuff, man, biscuits or whatever, you know, like I say, good considering where we were. So I was going to the kitchen because we hadn't had no commissary. We hadn't even really got our property yet. So once I went to the kitchen and seeing what type of meals they was having, and then you seen the menu, you was like, man, this can't be right. Trust me, it did not last long. It did not last long, man. You know, maybe, you know, a couple of months, and then it just started, man, and it, you know, because they got hip, and they started giving that food to them and started giving us all this miscellaneous stuff that they was getting. Rotten food, bulk meat, squash, and beets, and man, it was horrible, you know. But the couple of months that it did last, it was good, you know. Whenever they had a guest or somebody come on the institution to walk around, it was from Richmond or something, it was coming to check out the place, might be doing a, you know what I'm saying, evaluation on the place or whatever, you know, then they would give us good food. But that happened on every institution we was on. Whenever they had a visitor coming from the outside, either he was doing an audit or doing something, you would know because the menu would change. All of a sudden now we getting pizza and a burger for lunch. Pizza, burger, and fries. Man, cut it out. We don't never get no stuff like that. So, you know, that was the little scheme they was doing. But like I say, that lasted for a minute. The block that I was in was only a transition block before they put you where you wanted to go. I was trying to get a barber's job off the top because of the simple fact that I had, hold up. Yeah, my bad. That was Jay Williams, man. He called me, man, from Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Salute to my brother. You know, we trying to put a play together for y'all in 2022. So we trying to, we trying to do a collab or whatever. So yeah, appreciate my brother giving me a call. But like I was saying, yeah, I was trying to get a barber job for the simple fact that, I got a license in barbering, and the barber that they had in there was, he for lack of a better word, he didn't know what he was doing. So, but they already had him hired. So by us first getting to River North, we in a block where it's the first block. Then they're going to start implementing other blocks. So while they wanted us to clean out the other block, what they did was they started carrying a couple of us over there and help us clean out the blocks and clean out the cells because, like I said, this is like a warehouse. It's been sitting there for 4 years and it ain't even been in use. It's been built 4 years ago, and they supposed to have prisoners in there then, but they had no officers to work the prison. So it was just sitting there for 4 years, and now they got it open and they just started. So when we go over there, I was one of the dudes who went over there to help clean up. Man, they got... I am not exaggerating. I'm telling you right now, but it been sitting there 4 years, and I guess it had no ventilation. Like I told y'all, it had no windows or nothing. It had literally, probably, man, like 1 million flies all over the floor. It just looked like the floor was black because there was so many dead flies on the floor. Spider webs and cobwebs everywhere. I was like, man, what in the world? It was like walking into a horror movie or something, seeing all this stuff everywhere. It was just crazy, man. They had us with push brooms, sweeping up, like piles of flies where you could pick up with the the dustpan. It was just, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. And like I said, the cells, man, it was ultra small. They had them floors, the shape, the walls, it just was a crazy place. Nothing like I had ever seen before in all my time of doing time. And once we got that cleaned up in about a couple of days or whatever, then they started bringing in other inmates, and other inmates started going in that block. So when they started going in that block, man, and the block started getting filled up, they need a barber over there. So I ended up getting moved over there to be a barber. Once I got moved over there, I got a new celly. I got a little young dude that was on the van with me, a little young dude named Mo from Carolina. I ended up telling y'all about Mo. Mo was the one that I told y'all about before. There was my celly up there, and he gonna go in the cell with a dude to fight a dude, knowing he can't fight with his little frail, small self. Don't weigh 140 with 2 bricks in the back of his pocket. And dude almost beat him to death in there, and I gave him the lecture about, man, you don't do no foolishness like that. You don't go in no cell with nobody without automatically knowing that you have secured a victory. If you know you ain't 100% sure you going to come out there victorious, you don't go in there. If you ain't sure you going to come out 100 victorious, you go in there with some help. You take that Bethlehem with you go in there with something, but you don't go in those, you can die in them cells, man. And he learned a hard lesson. He learned a real, real hard lesson, man. But when he was in the cell with me, man, he was a good little young dude, man. He got caught up, man, in some stuff that, really he wasn't supposed to be caught up in, but that just comes to show you when I tell y'all about being safe, being smart, and making good decisions. He was a good kid, man. He's a young black kid, man, and his mom was actually a doctor. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never been in trouble in his life. It was just the company that he kept. Now he ended up with 12, 13 years. You see what I'm saying? 12, 13 years under the new law, he gonna do almost all of that. So just from that one mistake, that was his situation. That's what he ended up doing. And I'm catching him at the beginning. So then he got all this time to do and don't even know nothing about doing time. Don't weigh 150 pounds soaking wet and can't fight a lick. It's gonna be rough for him. It ain't no other way. It's gonna be rough for him. And that's what I be telling these young dudes is out here on the street. And that's the message that I be trying to preach to y'all. Y'all out here on these streets and y'all running around with these gangs and y'all fight and you got all these dudes to help you, or you shooting these guns and everything. But when you get in prison, there ain't nobody there to help you. Ain't no guns in prison. You gonna have to use these and you gonna have to use this to stay alive. You see what I'm saying? Those are gonna be your tools for survival in there. You're not gonna be able to shoot nobody, keep nobody up off you. You're not gonna be able to depend on somebody to help you fight somebody. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And even if it do happen, it's not gonna happen when you get in one of them altercations in a cell. You see what I'm saying? Because the only person gonna be in that cell is you and that other person. And if that other person don't have no mercy on you and you can't defend yourself, then your life is in jeopardy, bro. It's just that plain and simple. It's just that plain and simple, man. So, like I told you, man, be smart, be safe, make good decisions, man. Stay on these streets by any means necessary. You know, but not to get off topic, but I'm just passionate about that, man. Letting these young dudes know that, man, don't mess your life up out here on these streets. Because I'm telling you, man, it ain't nothing nice in there, man. Nothing at all. But yeah, man, I got the job over there. He moved in there with me. So, you know, I'm cutting hair in there. It's crazy. Like I say, it's a crazy environment because of the officers, man. The officers don't know nothing about prison. They don't know the rules, the regulations. They trying to enforce stuff that's not really enforceable by law, but they trying to bully you. And you got a lot of young dudes coming on there. A lot of dudes is just starting to do time. Not a lot of vets like me who already been down for a minute. So dudes like me, I'm not going for none of that. And you got a few of them sprinkled in there that's been locked up a long time. But they trying to handle us as we kids. As if we just don't know nothing about penitentiary, as we just got in there. Man, I was arguing and fussing with him about my property. I done talked to the warden about my property. He done came over there. I done talked to him. He done tried to tell me, yeah, well, let me look at the pictures that they took. They took books. They took educational books, man. They told me we couldn't have these books. And the books they took was no reason for them to take them. These are my books. I purchased these books. I bought these books. But they're taking these books because they're saying that these books don't, you know what I'm saying, coexist with their policy. Books like, from people like Stokely Carmichael, or the book from Elijah Muhammad, you know, A Message to a Black Man. You know, books like philosophy from Plato, Aristotle, the 48 Laws of Power. They taking these books and telling me I got to send them home because they don't want me to read these type of books. First of all, I've already read every one of them. Second of all, they my books. I purchased them. So why do I have to send them home? But they're confiscating this. I'm arguing and I'm grieving all of this stuff, man. It's just crazy. You know, it's just a wild scene, man. And I'm feeling like I left worse to bad. You see what I'm saying? And prison is bad, period. But I didn't get too much more. I didn't gain too much more ground from leaving Wallace Ridge from coming to River North. I'm right down the street. I'm dealing with the same form of racism, the same form of control, the same form of viciousness coming from the administration. You see what I'm saying? But I had to deal with it, and that's what you got to do when you're in prison. You ain't got no other choice. It ain't no need to sit around and pout, whine, say, woe is me, because it ain't going to change nothing. You got to stay proactive. You got to do what you feel like you need to do. Fill out the paperwork. Do what you got to do. Wait for those things to happen. And then that's just it. Other than that, man, you stuck, you know. But I remember when I talked to the warden when he came in, I was talking about my pictures. So he was like, man, I'm going to take a look at the pictures myself. And I'm talking about, they talking about making me send home in excess of 300 pictures, right? So he said, I'm going to look at the pictures myself. I'll call you over there. I'll get the property people to bring it over, and I'll determine whether or not you are able to have them or not. So he calls me over, and then, like I told y'all, some of the blocks be open. So when he calls me over there, he gets and takes me over next door into another block that's completely empty because they haven't put nobody in it yet. So he got the property dude to come over there and set my pictures and stuff up on the table. He said, look, I looked at the pictures. You're not going to be able to keep the pictures. You're going to have to choose to send them home or either choose to destroy them. It's your choice. I said, well, how do I know which ones I want to send home, which ones I want to destroy, or whatever? He said, well, you got an opportunity to take a quick look at them, and you decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to destroy or send home. So I'm sitting at the table talking to him, and when he say that, Now he turns his back and starts talking to another officer that's in there with him. So when he doing that, I'm going through the pictures. So they literally right there with me, and I'm supposed to be going through these pictures to decide which ones I want to send home and which ones I want to destroy. So while they sitting there talking and everything, and man, I was so bold, but I was so nervous at the same time. But I'm looking at them, and they got their back turned, and they so engulfed in their conversation. And I'm looking through these pictures, and I look around, and there ain't no cameras active, ain't nothing going on, ain't nobody else in this big old block but us. And they got their back turned. Man, I started stuffing pictures in my shirt. I was pulling out stacks of pictures, looking and stuffing them in my shirt, you know, and I don't know, I probably got away with probably about, out of the 300 and something, I probably got away with probably about 90, 80 pictures. And the rest of them I told him, man, you just go ahead, take them and send them home, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, you don't want to destroy any? I said, no, I want to send this whole bulk home. So I'm so nervous about getting up and walking away because I'm thinking they're going to see the bulge in my shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, man, if he catch me, he'll probably going to give me a charge. I don't even know what the charge will be, probably contraband or whatever. They're going to make something up. But it was just so crazy, man, because that's how much I wanted my pictures, because in prison, pictures are sentimental to you. They have sentimental value. You know what I'm saying? I did my time with these pictures. These are memories. Sometimes when I get in a low mood or something, I look at my pictures and they'll inspire me. They'll, you know what I'm saying, they'll give me some type of hope. That, you know, I got stuff out on the outside waiting for me. I got people waiting for me. I got people that care about me. So the pictures mean a lot, you know what I'm saying? If somebody messes with your pictures on the inside, your celly or somebody else, man, you be ready to do much damage to them. I know I would, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, they meant a lot to me, man. So I was willing to take that chance, and you know, luckily I got away with that, you know what I'm saying, with getting away with a couple of them pictures, man. But for the most part, man, my books was gone. Some books they confiscated, some books they left for me to send home. I'm like, where are the books that, you know, I purchased and I had? They was like, well, you know, they confiscated. You can't even have them. I said, so I don't even have the option to send them home? They was like, nah, you don't even supposed to have them. How am I not supposed to have them when I ordered them while I've been in prison? I haven't been nowhere else but prison. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't have got them nowhere but while I'm in here. Oh, well, we understand, but you know, they're not authorized. These books are not authorized. They don't want any type of books in there that they feel might empower your intellect. Any books that might feel like they may make you think on a higher level. You see what I'm saying? They're going to confiscate them books. They don't even want you to have them. And that, to me, was telling in itself. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to you while you in there yourself to educate yourself, to put yourself in a better position, to be smarter, to be wiser, to make better decisions. That's on you, because they're not even going to help facilitate that at all. If anything, they're going to hinder that. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I was dealing with all of that, and I was trying to keep my composure because, like I said, I didn't want to put myself in a position where I go backwards. I definitely did not want to go back to Wallace Ridge, and I didn't want to see no parts of red onion. So when you in those positions and you're back against the wall, man, you just got to humble yourself and do what you got to do. Once you have exhausted all of your paper remedies and all of that you can do, there's nothing else you can do. Because like I say, at the end of the day, they're going to have the final word. They're going to have the final say-so. And it ain't nothing you can do about it but just bow down or either be punished. And I'm telling you, man, they was punishing dudes up there. I can remember being up there the first time I seen them bust that gun. I was on the phone, and I'm talking on the phone, and I see a young dude over there arguing with another dude. So I'm always aware, even when I'm on the phone, I always got my eyes open. I'm always looking around. I'm always seeing what's going on. So I see them arguing. So when I see them arguing, their voices getting loud. So I look up to the tower, and I see the dude, he ready. He just ready to shoot you. He want to shoot you. This is, you know what I'm saying? He probably dreamed about this. I ain't never been able to shoot nobody in my life. Now I can bust this gun. I want y'all to fight. He don't even say nothing. He don't give them a warning. He don't tell them to pipe down, stop all that noise, or sit down or whatever. He just sitting there just wait. And they unbeknownst to this because they steady arguing. And they arguing over some foolishness. Probably a card game or something. Woo, woo, woo. So next thing you know, one dude, he pushed the other dude. So when he pushed him, before the dude can push him back, bah! He bust the gun. Get on the ground. Everybody get on the ground. I'm like, oh, and I'm on the phone, right? So the people I'm on the phone talking to, they said, what was that? I said, they shooting in here. I drop the phone, I get down, I'm looking up, I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. I'm right back in Wallace Ridge, just a different place, but with the same thing going on.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.